Hey everybody, in this video I'm going to be doing the predicted 11 ahead of our game against FC Dallas this weekend. Hey everybody, thank you so much for joining us here on Big TV. I'm Tyler, and in this video we're going to talk about the predicted 11 that I think will start for this game on Saturday night against FC Dallas down in Dallas. So, here is the team lineup from the New England Revolution game, and in all honesty, I think that's exactly what we are going to see. The system loaded up exactly the team that we'd seen them already play, and I think it's going to be more of the same. Now, in terms of the way that we are playing, this 4-2-3-1 shape, it's really hard to honestly put it into this shape. A lot of times, sometimes Hany is playing over here. Is it going to let me insert in this pocket? And Sam plays here. And then these guys are pushing really high up into these spaces. So, you know, it's hard to actually call it. It's kind of an asymmetrical 4-3, 4-2-1-3 or something. But in all honesty, it doesn't really matter that much. We transition so much. We change the way we play so much. I'm really happy just seeing this team play and be so versatile, be able to play in so many different ways. And it's really exciting to watch. So I don't really care what the shape is. I'll start with a 4-2-3-1. But in all honesty, it doesn't make that much of a difference. These two play like this a lot. That's probably honestly how I see this team a lot of the time, is this sort of shape. But the most important thing is I think this is the team that's going to start again. I think they did really well against New England Revolution. I think this is really our first choice team right now. I think they're really exciting to watch. So Nahar, I've mentioned in my match preview, I think he's going to have to be really on it in terms of his defensive work. He needs to be able to communicate really well because Farrington and Musa in this Dallas team are the threats. They pull away a lot. They pull into spaces. They pull into channels. And Palacios and Nahar need to be communicating really well on that. That's for sure. We might see Yazbek drop into here, which we've seen a lot when we are in transition. So this kind of ends up being our shape with this kind of 5. These two pull out as wing backs up here. And we just need to be really aware of this. When we're on the counter, for instance, or they're on the counter, we just need to be aware that they can do that. They can pull in and cause us issues in this space here. We've got to make sure that we press them well. We've got to make sure that this midfield and our back four, when we get turned around, say we lose the ball, they do regain the shape. Yazbek pulls in here. Tagsa drops in nice and fast. And these guys at wing back really drop in and allow to regain our shape and have this nice block here, this block of 4 to defend. And these guys do their job tracking back, filling up these spaces here as well, outside. We kind of drop into this kind of 4-4-2 type shape when we're defending. And I think it's just important that we see these players commit to that defensive work because these guys can be dangerous on the counter. They can be dangerous with balls from deep. We just need to put in the defensive work, and I think we'll be fine. So Palacios, I think we're expecting more of the same from him. He looked really good last weekend. I don't think we're going to see any concerns. I feel like he's got to be up for that physical battle, and again, just got to communicate well against these two number 9s. They are very dangerous, and we just need to make sure that one of our two centre-backs is really closely marking whichever one it is that's going to be driving forward. They like to drive forward from deep and receive crosses from the other player, so we just need these two guys to be really communicating that well. So exactly the same thought with Will Edsey being picked. He's got that pace, which is really fortunate and important. He can drop back and make sure he's defending and tracking back against those number 9s that are going to want to move them around and pull them all over the place. So just going to have that recovery pace, which I think is important, particularly on a transition move. Love it. Again, like I say, just keep doing his thing. I like that they push out really wide in attack. He just needs to keep doing that, allowing this space in here when we're in attack for Yazbek to come in, pull some strings, Hany and Eddie in there as these guys push forward. And this is just a really nice situation to be in with plenty of triangles. This is the thing. There's so many triangles in here that allow us to keep progressing the ball. So we've got this triangle here with Yazbek, Mukhtar, Palacios. Whereas he tags Seth, there's a triangle here, triangle here, triangle here, triangle here, triangle. it's a great shape to be in when you're attacking and transitioning the ball. So when these guys push right up, it gives us so many triangles to play the ball through. I just want to see that from Lovitz continuing to be out there, making the pitch very wide, spreading, which is what we're doing a lot with our fullbacks. They're staying very wide and making space in the middle and allowing these guys to, I mean, there's occasions where we see this with Yazbek at the base of it all, and just allows us to keep progressing the ball, which is great. And in terms of Lovitz's play, I just think really being aware of that defensive move back inside, keeping that defensive mindset, and I think we should be fine. So next we can move into our midfield. So it's going to look pretty much like this typically, at least starting, just so we don't confuse everybody. Appreciate this is a little tactically in-depth, but I love doing this stuff. So Yazbek, more of the same. We've seen him in that position that I've mentioned, dropping into here in the central defense. I think, honestly, that's one of the biggest things. We can regain control of the game. I think if we can keep the pressure up, keep that pressure cooker feel, I think they're going to crumble eventually. And I think Yazbek being able to pull into here, being able to make that space, allow the team to progress, carry the ball well, I think we're going to be absolutely fine with him in there. And I love this role that he's playing. He's been all over the field so far. He's created goals and run up here and managed to get assists in at times, but he's also done this controlling, playing deep, playing this quarterback role. I think he's a really versatile player and a really useful part of our system. I love watching him play, and I think he's a really good player, to be honest with you. Underrated in our team. Next, we've got Eddie playing on that side. I think Eddie, really the important thing with him is just to keep up the pressing energy, and some of the runs forward he's been making into these pockets here. That was how one of our goals came at the weekend, was just him managing to run through, burst through, add energy, add another threat. That suddenly means that it's a 5-on-5 against the back five, and just makes it really impossible to mark. We're going to find space. These guys can push up. These guys can push into this space. And when Eddie's doing that, I think he's got so much energy, and that's the important thing, just that pressing energy. And also, I think we're starting to see him not have to do as much defensive work with Yazbek doing that and gaining the control of the game. And Eddie's now being able to push forward, do things that enhance our attack and add that energy, that sudden burst that you're not expecting from midfield, and it's really hard to mark last minute or defend against last minute. I think we can do that. I think we should be all over this Dallas back five. Next, we have Hany in that midfield. Again, I think the way that he is going to be able to play in behind their midfield and defense is the important thing. So less of this kind of pressing up here, playing as a striker, and more dropping into the hole here. I think it's going to be really important to then play balls forward to Espinoza, play balls forward to Madrigal, and again, kind of dictate the play from deep. I think that's going to be an important aspect of this. And he's got that space. I think when I looked at the Dallas game against Toronto, they left a lot of space between their midfield and defense. That is Hany's space. That is Hany's space to do something. And it means their midfield is going to have to drop, or their defenders are going to have to push up and press. And that then allows Hany to break that press, play a ball in behind, and hopefully grab a goal. I'd love to see all this come to fruition at the weekend. Madrigal, of course, starts on the left wing. I think we're going to see more of the same from him. I love his sort of mini Espinoza vibe. Great crosses in from the left-hand side. Good runs forward. Good opportunities. Got that goal, of course, last weekend. I think we are just going to see another really good display from him. The only thing I will say is it'll be interesting to see him against the five. There are going to be two players sort of marking this channel here, either side of him potentially. And he's going to have to rely on maybe a little bit more playmaking, a little bit more playing the ball back to then get forward in behind them, perhaps. But it is a chance, particularly when you're playing a five, to overlap as well. So if he can come inside, maybe Lovitz can come up on the outside, and suddenly you've got two wide players against one, and you've isolated them. That's the important thing about playing a five, is the opportunities you get in those wide areas where they only have one player defending that. And of course, we have really good wide players. So I'd love to see more of that, more problems faced by allowing our fullbacks to push on and allowing Madrigal and, of course, Espinoza to do the same on the right-hand side. Really, it's the same thing. I think I'd like to see more from Espinoza. He's got an opportunity to do a little bit more, I think, in this game. His playmaking may come into effect a little bit more, bringing more players in, allowing some balls in behind, perhaps. But, again, it's against this five, so if we can see him and Nahar push on. I know Nahar doesn't always really like to push on up here, so I think it's a chance for really Nahar to come into this Espinoza space in attack, allow Espinoza to push on, maybe get a ball in behind, and we'll have Surridge, Mukhtar, all these players kind of trying to get on the end of it. I think that would be really good to see. And I think maybe one of the biggest ways to unlock this Dallas side is that way. And then I'll put him back out to here. And then Sam Surridge, I mean, a good performance at the weekend, started off the season with a bang, getting those 2 goals. And just more of that, I think. We just need to see more of that. Nothing too complex, nothing more than that. Just being in the box, being in the area, 4 balls from Madrigal, 4 balls from Espinoza. I'm thinking it's less likely we're going to see so many balls threaded through with this back 3 to Surridge, but I can see those spaces opening up in these channels. So I think we're just going to need to see Surridge right in there, ready to finish, ready to get those poachers goals. And as I mentioned in the match preview as well, getting a few shots on their keeper. Their keeper didn't look too confident at their game on the weekend. He didn't score particularly well with his match rating, and he did spill a couple of opportunities. Just doesn't look super, super rock solid. So I think it's a chance for us to be able to get those goals that way. Maybe a Mukhtar shot that turns into a Sam Surridge finish. I think that kind of thing is going to be more likely to happen. And this back 3 for Dallas didn't look too confident, didn't seem to be doing too well when they were under a lot of pressure. They didn't communicate incredibly well. Unfortunately, I think Toronto were just not that great either. And it was more of a who was the least bad rather than who was the best team in that game. So I think we could see more from these guys. And if Sam is in that box, getting those finishes we saw, like that goal against New England, I think we'll be absolutely fine. So that is my predicted 11. Let me know your thoughts on this in the comments. Let me know your thoughts on the tactical run through, whether you feel like that's how the game is going to play out, or if you think something different is going to happen. I'd love to hear your predicted 11 if you think there are any changes that you don't agree with. And I can't wait for this game. I think we're going to get the win, and I'm really looking forward to it. If you haven't already, hit the like button and the subscribe button for more Nashville SC fan content from Big TV, and let's go and get this win on Saturday.